Hello students, this is our lecture paper part 2. In part 1, we saw the Euclidean algorithm to find the GCD of given two number and express it in the form ax plus by. So we quickly recall that by some example. So we find GCD of 16 and 7 and express it in the form 16x plus 7y. Solution: as 7 is smaller and 16 is bigger number, so we divide 16 by 7 and we write 16 is equals to 7 multiplied by 2 plus 7 to the 14 and the remainder should be 2. Okay, so we write the 16 as in the form a is written as bq plus r. By theorems, the GCD of 16 comma 7 is equals to 7 comma 2, that is the quotient and the remainder. As here GCD, that is remainder, is non-zero, therefore we have 7, we divide 7 by the remainder 2, so 2 can be written as 2 multiplied by 3, that is 6, plus remainder is 1. Again the remainder is non-zero, so we divide the 2 by 1. So we write 2 is equals to 2 into 1 plus 0, right? Because GCD of 7 comma 2 is equals to the GCD of 2 comma 1. Again the GCD of 2 comma 1 is equals to the GCD of 1 comma 0, that is equals to 1. So the GCD of 16 comma 7 is the last non-zero remainder, and that is equals to, here the last non-zero remainder is 1, so the GCD of 16 comma 7 is equals to 1. We can take the reverse step to express the GCD of 16 and 7 in the form 16x plus 7y. We have the last remainder is 1 and we express this one as, we take the reverse step, so here 1 can be written as 7 minus 2 into 3, which is equals to 7. After that the remainder is 2, so we write minus, we replace this 2 by this equation, this 2 as 16 minus 7 multiplied by 2. So 16 minus 7 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. So opening the bracket, we get 7 minus 16 multiplied by 3 minus plus multiplied by 7, and this 3 to the 7 as it is, 3 to the 6. So it is equals to 7 into 1, and we write this as plus 16 minus 3 plus 7 and multiplied by 6. So adding this term, that is equals to 7 multiplied by 7 plus 16 minus 3. So this is equals to, we express 1 in the form 16 into minus 3 plus 7 into 7. So here x is equals to minus 3 and y equals to 7. We have observed here that the GCD of 16 comma 7 comes out to be 1. Call this number 16 and 7 are relatively prime number. That is, if any such a pair is given with GCD is equals to 1, we call this number as a relatively prime number. We start this lecture with the definition of relatively prime number. That is, we see here the definition of relatively prime numbers, characterization of definition of relatively prime number. We see some theorems depending on that and examples. Okay, definition: let a and b be integers which are not both 0, and if a comma b is equals to 1, then a and b are said to be relatively prime. That is, we call, if the GCD of any two numbers a comma b equals to 1, then we call the pair a and b are relatively prime numbers. Okay, for example, GCD of 12 comma 13. What is the GCD of 12 comma 13? As 13 is prime, therefore it has only two divisors, 1 and 13, and hence there is no common divisor other than 1. So GCD of 12 comma 13 is equals to 1. We can take a GCD of minus 12 comma 13 also, because the GCD of negative number is also positive, and therefore the GCD of this two number is also 1. So if the GCD of two numbers is equals to 1, then we call this as a relatively prime numbers. Okay, now we see the characterization of the definition of relatively prime number. Characterization means alternative to the definition. As previously we see that the GCD of a and b, we can write this in the linear combination. That is, we can write the GCD of a comma b as ax plus by. So to show for the characterization, we use this theorem, and here, as the numbers, if we have the numbers a and b are relatively prime, then it can be written as, then the GCD of a comma b is equals to 1, and hence 1 is equals to ax plus by. This implies 1 equals to ax plus by, right? So we see the characterization of the definition in terms of the theorem. So we have the theorem. So our theorem states that a and b are any non-zero integers, and the GCD, that is a and b, are relatively prime if and only if. That is, the condition is if and only if. So if a and b are relatively prime, then we have to show that xa plus yb is equals to 1, and if xa plus yb is equals to 1 for some x and y, then a and b are relatively prime. Okay, so there is a if and only if condition. So we prove the theorem in two parts. So part 1, in that we have given that a and b are relatively prime. Therefore this implies GCD of a comma b is equals to 1, and by theorem, that is by this theorem, GCD of a comma b is written as the linear combination of a and b for some, that is, by theorem there exist x and y such that GCD of a comma b is the linear combination of x comma y, where x comma y belongs to z, that is set of integers. As GCD of a comma b equals to 1, so we write 1 equals to ax plus by. So this is as required here. Okay, so given that GCD is equals to 1, that is GCD of a comma b is equals to 1, and we have to prove this. Okay, hence first part is complete. Now in part 2, we take conversely. We suppose that for some x comma y belongs to z, we have xa plus yb equals to 1. Okay, this is given. Now to prove that, of a and b equals to 1, that is, we have to prove that here a and b are relatively prime. We let a comma b, that is GCD of a comma b, is equals to d. This implies d divides a and d divides b, because d is a GCD, therefore it is a divisor and hence it is divide a and b. Okay, so this implies as it divide a and b, therefore it divides the linear combination of a and b. So d divides the linear combination x plus by, where x comma y belongs to z. Therefore d divides 1, because ax plus by, it is given that it is equals to 1, and hence, but d is a GCD, then by definition d is positive, as d is greater than 0 and d divides 1. Therefore from these two conditions, there is only possibility that d is equals to 1. Okay, so d equals to 1 implies a comma GCD of a comma b is equals to 1. This implies a and b are relatively prime. Hence the proof. So this proves our part 1 and part 2. Now we see the theorems or results. Theorem 1, if GCD of a comma b is equals to d, then prove that GCD of a upon d comma b upon d is equals to 1. So we see the proof here. In proof, let GCD of a comma b equals to d. This is given here. Okay, now by theorem, there exist integers x and y such that we can write the GCD of a comma b is equals to ax plus by, where x comma y belongs to z, that is some integer, and a comma b is equals to d, therefore d is equals to ax plus by. Now since d divides a and d divides b, therefore we can write 1 equals to a upon d into x plus b upon d into y. And by definition of relatively prime number, therefore this implies a upon d and b upon d are relatively prime. As we see from the previous theorem, that is a characterization of relatively prime, the GCD of these two numbers is equals to 1, therefore they are relatively prime, and this implies GCD of a upon d comma b upon d is equals to 1. Hence the proof. For example, GCD of 12 comma 24, that is equals to, what is the GCD here? It is equals to 12. Okay, now if we divide it by 12, so it is 12 upon 12 comma 24 upon 12, that is equals to 1 comma 2. Okay, so GCD of 1 comma 2 is equals to 1. Or we take another example, that GCD of 8 comma 14, that is equals to GCD of 8 comma 14 is, what is the common divisor here? 1 and 2. Okay, so common divisor is 1 and 2 and the greatest common divisor is 2. So we divide this by 2, that is GCD of A comma B is equals to D, and we divide this A and B by D here. So we divide 8 and 14 by 2, so it is 8 upon 2 comma 14 upon 2. The GCD is equals to 8 upon 2 means 4 and 14 upon 2 means 7. So the common divisor is here 1 and the GCD is also 1. So if A comma B equals to D, then the GCD of A upon D comma B upon D is equals to 1. That is, if we divide the numbers by the GCD, then the GCD of that numbers are equals to 1. Now we see the next theorem. Theorem 2. This theorem has a name Euclid. We call this as a Euclid lemma. Euclid's lemma. Okay, the statement of the theorem is if A divides BC and the GCD of A comma B is equals to 1, then A divides C. Euclid lemma state that if A divides BC and the GCD of A comma B is equals to 1, that is A and B are relatively prime, then A divides C. Okay, the condition here that the GCD, that is A comma B, should be relatively prime is very important, and we see from this example. For example, 6 divides 4 multiplied by 9, that is 6 divides 36, but 6 does not divide 4 and 6 does not divide 9. Since the GCD of 6 comma 4 is equals to 2 and the GCD of 6 comma 9 is equals to 3, that is not equals to 1. This is also not equals to 1. So here GCD of none of the number is equals to 1, and hence 6 does not divide 4 and 6 does not divide 9. So the condition that the A comma B is equals to 1 is very important, because in this example 6 divides the product, but 6 does not divide 4, also it does not divide 9. Okay, so the Euclid lemma state that if A divides the product and the GCD of A comma B is equals to 1, then A divides C. We see the proof. As let we take this, let A comma B is equals to 1, and from this then by theorem there exist integers x and y such that ax plus by equal to 1. We multiply this by c. We are multiplying by c. We get c is equals to c into ax plus c into by. As here, see, we have to prove that A divides C. So we have to prove if A divides this and A divides this, then A divides C. Okay, we give this as equation number 1. Now A divide AC because C is a multiple of A. Okay, and given that A divide BC, this is given, so this implies A divide CA into X plus CB into Y that is a linear combination of these two by the property. Therefore, A divide this is equals to C by 1, since by 1, hence proof. Now for example, 12 divides 5 multiplied by 24, and the GCD of 12 comma 5 is equals to 1, that is 12 and 5 are relatively prime, therefore 12 divides 24. Now let's see the one more theorem, that theorem third. If A divides C and B divides C with GCD of A comma B is equals to 1, then AB divides C. Okay, so the statement of the theorem is that A divides C and B divides C, and A and B are relatively prime, that is their GCD is equals to 1. Then we have to show that the product of the divisor divides C. Okay, so let's see the proof. Let A divides C. So this implies C is equals to M into A for some M belongs to Z. That is, we can write by definition of the divisibility, C can be written as the M, that is integer multiplied by A. So substitute also B divides C. So substitute the value of C here. So this implies B divides M into A. This implies B divides M, since GCD of A comma B is equals to 1. As seen here, B divides the product M into A, but GCD of B comma A is equals to 1. Therefore, by Euclid lemma, B divides M. Okay, so we write here B divides M. Therefore, A into B divides A into M. And A into M is nothing but our C, that is AB divides C, since C is equals to M into A, and hence we get the result, hence the proof. For example, 4 divides 12 and 6 divides 12, right? 4 divides 12 and 6 divides 12, and the product 4 into 6 divides 12. Is 4 into 6 divides 12? No, because 4 into 6 is 24. Does not divide 12. Okay. So here the GCD of 4 comma 6 is equals to 2, which is not equals to 1. Again, from this example, we have the condition that the GCD of A comma B is equals to 1 is very important, because here the product 4 into 6 does not divide 12, because the GCD is not equals to 1. So we require that the GCD should be equals to 1. That is, if we take the example 7 divides 42 and 3 divides 42, and here GCD of 7 comma 3 is equals to 1. Therefore 7 multiplied by 3, that is product of 7 into 3 divides 42, that is 21 divides 42. So the condition that the GCD of A and B is equals to 1 is very important. If not equals to 1, then the result here, it does not hold. Now we take the example. This example, we have to prove that no pair of x comma y exists such that we satisfy the condition that x plus y equals to 100 and the GCD of x comma y equals to 3. So to prove this, there exists no pair, we assume that there exists a pair which satisfy these two equations. Method of contradiction. Okay, so for the solution, we assume there exist integers x and y such that x plus y equals to 100, and we give this as equation number 1, and GCD of x comma y equals to 3, we give this as equation number 2. Now since x comma y equals to 3, this implies 3 divides x and 3 divides y. Therefore x is equals to 3 into m and y is equals to 3 into n for some m comma n belongs to z. This is by the definition of divisibility that we can write x is equals to 3 multiplied by m, that is some integer m, and y is written as 3 multiplied by n, that is for some integer n. Therefore, using these values, equation 1 implies, that is, we write x plus y equals to 100 as x equals to 3m and the y is equals to 3n equals to 100. We can take the common 3 in bracket. We have m plus n equals to 100. So this implies 3 divides 100 because 100 is written as 3 multiplied by m plus n, and where m plus n belongs to z, but this is not true because we cannot write 100 as a multiple of 3. Okay, that is integer multiple of 3, we cannot write 100, and hence our assumption is wrong. What is our assumption here? That there exists an integer x and y satisfy these two conditions. Thus we can say that there are no integers x comma y exist satisfying x plus y equals to 100 and GCD of x comma y equals to 3. So from this example, what should be the condition that such a pair satisfy the condition like this? Okay, so we see the generalization of this example. The example as let s and g greater than 0 be given integers. Prove that integer x and y exist satisfying x plus y equals to s, that is the sum of this number equals to s, and the GCD of this number equals to g. That is, this pair exists if and only if g divides c. As here we seen that since 3 does not divide 100, because this is not true, and hence that the condition x plus y equals to 100 and x comma y equals to 3 is not satisfied by any integer x and y. The same condition is here, that these conditions are satisfied if and only if g divides s. So we solve this solution since if and only if is condition. So in part 1 we assume that x plus y is equals to s and the GCD of x comma y equals to g, and we have to prove that g divides s as x comma y, GCD of x comma y equals to g. Therefore this implies g divides x and g divides y. Therefore by definition of divisibility we can write x is equals to m into g and y is equals to n into g for some m comma n belongs to z, that is for some integers in z. So this implies x plus y, that is equals to mg plus ng, is equals to m plus n into g. That is, s is written as m plus n into g. So since m plus n belongs to z, this implies, therefore above implies g divides s, because we write s as a product of multiple of integer. That is, we write s as a multiple of g. So g divides s, and this proves the first part, that we have to prove that g divides s. Now we prove the second part by we assume that g divides s, and we prove that x plus y is equals to s and the GCD of x comma y equals to g. Now in a part 2, this converse part, conversely, suppose that g divide s. Therefore by definition s is equals to a multiplied by g for some a belongs to z, that is for some integer. We choose a such that a is equals to m plus n and the GCD of m comma n is equals to 1. We choose a as a sum of the integer m plus n and the GCD of m comma n equals to 1, comma m comma n belongs to z. This implies x is taken to be m into g and y is equals to n into g, such that x plus y is equals to m g plus n into g, that is equals to m plus n into g, that is equals to a into g, which is equals to s. And the GCD of x comma y, that is equals to the m into g comma n into g. So we can take out the common g in bracket m comma n, which is equals to g. Since GCD of m comma n equals to 1, so this is equals to g, and thus we have the GCD of x comma y equals to g. So in the second part, we suppose that g divides s, and we prove that x plus y is equals to s and the GCD of x comma y equals to g. So here we choose the from this condition that g divides s, we take s is equals to a into g by definition, and we choose a as a sum of the integers m and n, and we take this integer m comma n such that the GCD of that is equals to 1, and x is written in the form m into g, y is written in the form n into g, and therefore the sum is equals to s and the GCD is equals to g. Hence the proof. We end this lecture here, and in the next lecture we see the greatest common divisor of more than two integers. Thank you.